Okay, so I apologize I'm not there for helping you guys review, but I'm going to walk you through it. I'll also post the answer key online when I have an opportunity. But number one, it says find an angle between 0 degrees and 360 degrees that is coterminal with a given angle. So remember here, a full circle is 360, so we subtract 360 until we get between 0 and 360. So I'm at 410, and I keep going until I get to 360. So 50 degrees. It's between 0 and 360, so that one will work. Number two, find a side labeled X. State your answer correct to 5 decimal places. So this is one where it's trig functions. I need to label the triangle, so I have opposite over adjacent. Which trig function is that? Good, tangent. So I have the tangent of 27 degrees equals 16 over x. I think I taught you guys this way, but you can also multiply by x on both sides. So if I multiply, I have x times tangent 27 degrees is equal to 16. I want x by itself, so I divide by tangent 27 on both sides. That one cancels. And then I plug this into a calculator. So I have x is equal to 16 over tangent 27. And if I plug that into a calculator, I get x is approximately 31.40177. And I'm hoping these are all right. I'm going off of something I made last year, but I have a feeling one of them might be incorrect based on my calculation. So if it is, I apologize. Number three, it says find the length of an arc that subtends a central angle of 60 degrees in a circle of radius 25 meters. So we have S is equal to R times theta. And I can't remember. I have a feeling this is part where you didn't learn it yet. So if that is the case, we will take that off and we'll add it to the next test. But this is the formula. And what it means, I think this is part that I did not teach you though. 60 degrees is the angle and the radius is 25. So theta is the angle and R is the radius. So I'm going to plug that in. So I have 25 and 60 degrees. And if I multiply those, I get 1500 degrees is S. Now the one thing that you need to remember is that I have to convert it into radians. So if you remember how to do this, we did 1500 times pi over 180. And if I do that, I end up with 75 pi over 9 if I reduce like that. And so it's either this or it's approximately 26.18 meters. So that's step one. That's the first part. Number four, it says find, this is not focused, is it? Hopefully that helps a little bit. It says find x correct to 1 decimal place. So first of all, here's x. I need to find this side length here and this side length here. So in order to do that, I'm going to label this A actually and this B. So I know x is equal to A plus B eventually. So I'm going to use trig functions in order to find this. So starting with A, this is opposite and adjacent. So I would have the tangent of 63 degrees is equal to 90 over little a. When I cross multiply, I end up with A is equal to 90 over tangent 63. I know I skipped a step there. I'd multiply by A on both sides and then divide by tangent 63. And when I plug this in, it's approximately 45.8 35, I think it is. Nope, I apologize. It's 85. Can't read my own writing. So that's for A. And then for B, if I do that, this is opposite over adjacent as well. So I would have the tangent of 27 degrees is equal to 90 over B. Cross multiply and divide, and I would end up with B is equal to 90 over tangent 27, which is approximately 176.64. And then I just need to add these. So I have x equals A plus B, which is equal to 45.85 plus 176.64. And that adds up to 222 point. I'm going to round it. 222.492, which is 222.5. Number 5. This was a little bit of a challenge. I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit difficult, and I purposely made your review more difficult than your actual test. So this says find x to one decimal place. So first, I need to actually find this side. So in order to do that, I'm going to label this side A. I need to use this information first. So this is opposite and hypotenuse. So that's the sine. So I have the sine of 50 degrees is equal to 75 over A. Cross multiply, and then I have A is equal to 75 over sine 50. That's a trick that you should learn, is that whenever you have a variable in the denominator, these two always switch. And if I find that answer, it becomes 97.9. So this is now 97.9. So now I could use that to find x. So it would be opposite over hypotenuse again. So I have the sine of 64 degrees is equal to 97.9 over x. Cross multiply, and I get x is equal to 97.9 over sine of 64 degrees. And when I plug that into a calculator, it comes out to approximately 108.9. And I know I'm going fast, so that just means for you, pause the video when necessary. Next one. It's a word problem, so you actually have to learn how to draw this picture out. It says a 21-foot ladder leans against a building. So I'm going to draw a building, and then my ladder leans against it. It's 21 feet long, so that the angle between the ground and the ladder, so this is the ground, this angle is 68 degrees. How high does the ladder reach up the building? So that would be x right there. So you have to figure out which trig function it is. If I asked you to label the sides, what would this be? Opposite, good, and this one is hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse from SOHCAHTOA is sine. So I have the sine of 68 degrees is equal to x over 21. When I cross multiply here, I have 21 times the sine of 68 degrees is equal to 1 times x, which is just x. And I just plug that straight into a calculator. And when I do that, x is approximately 19.4709. And it says please round to the nearest foot, so 19 feet. Moving right along. I'm going to post this video as well online, so that way if you run out of time in class, you're welcome to go home and watch it on YouTube. So number 7, it says, a 66-foot tree casts a shadow that is 110 feet long. So once again, this is one that is a word problem. So I have a cute little tree. You know my artistic abilities here. There you go. There's my tree. And my tree is going to cast a shadow that is 110 feet long. What is the angle of elevation? So this is angle of elevation. Remember, if you look up, it's elevation. And so it's asking, please, what is the angle of the elevation? And the tree right here is 66 feet. So which trig function would I use if it's opposite and adjacent? Good. So I have the tangent of theta equals 66 over 110. Now some people always ask, can I reduce? Sure, but there's no point because you're using a calculator. But if you want to, that's fine. How would I get, oh, I lost my pen. How would I get theta by itself? Inverse trig function. So if you remember that, you would multiply by tan inverse on both sides, because that's the only thing that's going to cancel a tangent here. So that cancels, and I'm left with tangent inverse of 66 over 110, and I just plug that straight into a calculator. Make sure you use the inverse button. And when you do that, theta is approximately 30.96, and it says please give the answer to one decimal place. So 30.9 degrees. Excuse me. Number 8. So now we get into the difficult stuff from section 6.3, 6.4, 6.5. So it says find, oh, I'm going to run out of room here big time. I'm going to do it on a separate sheet of paper. So number 8 says, how about we get it in the video? There we go. Find the area of a triangle with side lengths of 9 and 24, and the included angle is 12 degrees. So this is what we're going to do. Draw a triangle. Try to get everything in the video here. Okay, it says side lengths of 9 and 24, and the included angle is 12 degrees. So that's what's given to us. Now, you need to find the area. So first of all, what's the area formula that you guys learned? Do you remember? It was Heron's formula. So first it was area is equal to the square root of s times s minus a, s minus b, s minus c, where a, b, and c were all side lengths. And you needed to know that s was equal to 1/2 of a plus b plus c. So we are given 2 side lengths. We need to find the third side length. So step 1 is to use your law of cosines, if you remember that. Law of cosines is used when you have a side angle side triangle. I'll write it down for you. So in this particular case, I already have little a, that's this side. I already have little c, that's that side. So I need to find little b, correct? So if that's the case, if you go back to your notes from 6.5, you were given these particular formulas. And I'm going to, in this case, use the b squared one because that's what I need to find out. So it's b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac times the cosine of b. And if I plug in all this information, I have b squared is equal to 9 squared plus 24 squared minus 2 times 9 times 24 times the cosine of angle B, and in this case it's 12 degrees. So plugging all of that into my calculator, I have b squared is equal to 81 plus 576 from right here. And then all of this combined minus, if I plug all that into a calculator, it comes out to 422.5598. And like I said, check my math. You never know. It's possible that I screwed it up. And so I end up with b squared is equal to 657 minus 422.5598. and b squared is equal to 234.4. Square root both sides, and b is approximately 15.3. So this side length is approximately 15.3. Well, wait, we're not done. The question asks me to find the area. So in order to find the area, I have to use this formula. So I have area, I'm going to start with s. S is equal to 1/2, and I'm going to add up all the side lengths. So I have 9 plus 24 plus 15.3. And so if I plug all that in, it's 24.15. And then now I can actually use the area formula. So I have area equals square root of 24.15 times 24.15 minus, and then I'm going to plug in all these, minus 9, minus 24. I ran out of room. And then 15.3. Sorry if you can't see that. That says 15.3. Plugging all this into a calculator, you get area is approximately 22.03 units squared. And it says to the nearest 10, so 22.0 is fine. So that was number 8. Lots of work. Okay, number 9. This one's a little bit easier. So number 8, that's a challenge. Number 9, use the law of sines to find the indicated angle theta. Please round to the nearest tenth. So, law of sines came from your 6.4 notes, I believe. Going back there. Let's see if I have them here in front of me. There we go. Okay, so 6.4. Your law of sines, that was the sine of A over little a equals sine of B over little b, so on and so forth, equals sine of C over little c. So this was the easier of the two, right? And so if we plugged in all the given information, I would have, this is big C and side C, so I would have the sine of 68 degrees all over 80.3 is equal to the sine of theta all over 56.8. So what do we do next? Cross multiply is fine. So I have 56.8 times the sine of 68 is equal to the sine of theta times 80.3. I'm going to divide by 80.3 here to get the sine of theta by itself. Those cancel. So then I have the sine of theta is equal to 56.8 times the sine of 68 all over 80.3. So that's step 1. Now, once I get that, plug this in, I get sine of theta is equal to 0.6555841. I'm just going to write out all the decimals. How do I get theta by itself? Good, I heard it. It's sine inverse. Both sides. So theta is equal to sine inverse of all of this. And when I plug it in, I get theta is approximately 40.9835. So if I round it to the nearest tenth, 40.9 is fine degrees. And last but not least, I'm going to do number 10 and then I'll switch to a new video. So it says use the law of sines to find the indicated side. So exact same thing here. These two go together. And notice here I don't have this angle to go with that side. But what do I know about all the angles of a triangle? What do they add up to be? Excellent. So I have 180 is what they all add up to be. And I have 109 plus 22. When I add those, I get 131. So I should have 180 minus 131, and what's that? That 49, I believe. So this angle right here is 49 degrees. So that's the first step. Step 2 is I have the sine of 49 over x is equal to the sine of 109 over 187. So be careful, because a lot of the times they try to trick you with that 22 degrees. When I cross multiply here, I have x times the sine of 109 is equal to 187 times the sine of 49. And if I divide here by the sine of 109 to get x by itself, make sure you're putting these in parentheses too, because otherwise your answers might come out wrong or incorrect. But if you plug that in, you should end up with x is approximately 149.263. So if I round, I get 149.3. And that's part 1 video. So take a second and then switch to video 2.